Hello everybody, this is Joel. I just wanted to make an intro to this video to maybe just give a little clarification. This is a 3.5 horsepower garden tiller, and I'll go into explanation about it, but it's a Briggs and Stratton engine. And this video will kind of go all over the place. I'm not a mechanic, but I'm not afraid to get my hands dirty and get into some of this type of work. So I did decide to record this project of trying to get this tiller running. Hasn't been running for over a year, about a year or so maybe. And I take you down a road, kind of a long and winding road. And there are some things that I would definitely do differently now that I know better. But hopefully you can learn a few things. Definitely not a how-to video, but maybe if you have the same situation, you could learn a couple of things from this video and go from there. Thanks for watching. Hello everybody, Joel here. So today I am going to start up the Montgomery Ward tiller for the first time for this year. And I used it last year to till up some soil I had removed from the around the trees. I wanted to put some mulch around the trees, make a bigger mulch basin for the trees a couple years ago. So I had a lot of hard, I've got hard soil up here, and I just piled it along the garage right over here, and I had quite a heaping pile sitting over here, and I needed to fill it in so I could build this little retaining wall. So I had that fill, but I had to chop it down a bit so it was easier to work with because it was just big huge sod and dirt clumps. So I was given this Montgomery Ward tiller. My father-in-law's neighbor, a friend of the family, had this and didn't need it anymore, and I was looking for one, so he said, go ahead, you can have it. And here's the plate on it. It's a GIL 1531B. So like I said, I used it last year, and I don't know the horsepower on it for sure. I guess I didn't even look. Did the tag say the horsepower? I don't think so, but it'll be easy enough to find. Some of you will be able to look at this engine and be able to tell right away what it is for horsepower just by looking at it probably. But she's a beauty. I think I determined it was 1960 something or early 70s. But man, you really get a workout using this thing. So I put a little bit of gas in it. I'm going to check the oil now, see what we've got going there. And then it's very reliable starting on about the 100th pull. She'll go with some starting fluid and a lot of fussiness, but that's been my experience so far. Hopefully I'll have better experience today. Okay, let's have a peek at that oil level. Should probably give this thing a good pressure wash. It deserves it, just out of respect for the machine. That would be a nice thing to do, but a little bit low on the oil. I'll go ahead and dribble some in there. I'm going to dig a little bit deeper in here, give my arm a rest, see what's going on. So I think after pulling this thing about 100 times, I have sensed that you guys are yelling at me to check for spark. And the reason I didn't check for spark right away is because it's always been a hard starter, and I've had to do those steps of spraying starting fluid and whatnot into the unit to get it to run. So I have had spark before. I didn't think that there would not be spark now. So I did check for spark. I don't have any. So I'm going to tear a little bit deeper into the magneto here. I have never worked on one of these, but down here I can see this is a bit rusty on this outer metal piece here. So, and I want to check the gap. I'll make sure that gap is good. But we'll have a look at this and see what's going to happen. And cleaning this thing off will be one of the first things I should be doing here. So I wiped off the magnet, wiped off around here, a little bit rusty. Check this gap. It's not much of a gap. Looks like there's only about enough room to slide a piece of paper through there, if that. So I'm not sure if that's good enough. Wish I would have taken small engines class back in high school. Everything I know has been from the school of hard knocks. And most recently, I guess YouTube has done a great job in educating me. Probably many of you also. Doesn't look like I'm getting any spark still. This is about the time I'd like to put it into the lake as a boat anchor. But we'll see if I can mess around a little bit more and get it running. Well, the Montgomery Ward garden tiller, front tine tiller, is getting the best of me. Tried a new spark plug, done a lot of different things with the coil. Tested the coil, it seemed okay, but I don't think that I'm getting anything through the coil. So I've got to leave it here for now until I can either get a coil. I've watched a couple other videos on this, and I haven't seen this type of coil. It's got a couple of wires that are coming out from underneath the coil, along with the other wire that's going down underneath the engine. Might be hooked into the stop switch, I'm thinking. I did disconnect a little wire that was hooked right to the top bolt to what held the coil down underneath this cover, and I was getting continuity to ground. So I don't know if there's a dead short in there, but I did disconnect that wire. I still got no spark. So I don't know. I would love to hear some more information. I'll have to educate myself some more. But I think I'm going to leave it there for now, and maybe we'll attempt this another day. So I'm back at it with the Briggs and Stratton. I have found out this is a 3.5 horse motor. And one thing I learned today, I was looking for a coil. I did order one off of Amazon yesterday. And I happened to be driving through a small town, western Minnesota, and there was an engine shop, small engine shop. He was open. So I pulled in there just to see if he happened to have a coil for this motor. I did find the nameplate or the actual name or the number on the motor yesterday. So I was able to stop in, gave him the number of the motor. It's right on the shroud here. So I was able to give that to him, and he looked up the coil, thought he would have one, but he said, does the machine have points? And I was unsure, but I think I figured out that it does, because the wires go kind of to the head of the motor and they go in, and I don't know where they go. It just looks like they're welded right onto the motor, but I think they're just sealed. And he said usually the points go bad before a coil will go bad. So that got me to thinking, well, if that's the case, then just maybe give me some points. So he looked it up. He did not have one, but he pointed me across the street to a farm supply store, and they did not have them. So I came back to my town here and went to another place, and they had them. So I got the set of points that I need for the Briggs and Stratton. These are the points right here. Brand new kit. So I've never replaced them. So I thought, well, I better take a look to see if there's a video on this. And sure enough, there's a video exactly on cleaning up, replacing the points. Actually, this video is from 2010, and it showed how to clean the points, how to check them and clean them. Didn't have a video on exactly how to replace them, but I'm sure that's pretty self-explanatory. He set out to gap them. But I'm going to tear this apart and see if they might just need to be cleaned or gapped. If it's So that wheel is stuck on there pretty good. So I've got some of this multi-purpose penetrant lubricant. Klein Tools made this. I've had this for years and years, and works really well. So that has been soaking in for a little while. Let's see if we can work this loose. Can see that gap in there. I've heard that it's about 20 thousandths that you want, and that looks pretty close. I don't have a gauge. I've got to pick myself one up, but learning that it could be handy. So I'm going to go with the points as they are. They look really clean. I think we can assume that they're operational. I'm going to put everything back together again. The new coil should be here Saturday. Today's Thursday. It's Thursday evening. The new coil should be here, like I said, Saturday. So I think Saturday I'll be able to put that in. And then we'll see. One thing I'm thinking is the new coils, it sounds like some of these new coils are coming with some type of coil already, or some type of points already in the coil, or there's no need to mess with the points. You just totally bypass it. So hopefully the instructions will say when I get it, because that would be a bonus if I could just bypass the coil and I wouldn't have to worry about it. But if it is in fact the points, I can get those changed out relatively easily with this kit that I just got today. So, but if I don't have to, I don't want to. So we'll see what happens with that. And sorry for this video; it's going all over the place. It's going to be a mess, I imagine. But we'll keep going. I'm going to take the gas tank off and the carb off and get those cleaned up, because I'm sure that they are they're pretty crapped out. So put some of this back together and then get that tank and carb off and try to start cleaning on that. So I've been working on this out in the shed. That's a nice place to work. It's decent to pull the lawn tractor out, but I've got this folding DeWalt table that I picked up, I think it was a Black Friday purchase a couple of years back, maybe 3 years back. But this thing is great. It makes just a great portable little workbench. So I'll take and I'll put some cardboard on here, and I'll get that carburetor out and start cleaning that off. And we'll get going. So I got the tank and the carburetor removed, and I emptied out the fuel. I'm going to clean up inside the tank a little bit, but I got that inner part cleaned up a bit and dried out. And here's the carburetor. These, I don't know if we'll be able to focus in on this or not, but the ends of these tubes are pretty plugged up, so I'm going to have some work to do on getting those cleaned off, but that's okay, we'll get it. But yeah, still working on getting this cleaned up. It's not looking too bad. The paint is coming right off, so that's all right. We can deal with that. But I'll keep going on it here and give you an update when I get things put back together. Well, that process was pretty easy. Had that all apart as I had showed you. Got it all cleaned up, sprayed it out, wiped it all down, and it went back together. It's a little tricky with this baffle and the gasket area. There's a spring under there with a kind of a keeper, maybe not a keeper, but a washer, a U-shaped washer that goes under the spring that goes against the baffle. So you got to be careful with that. But I don't know. It's cleaned out, so we'll see. We'll see how this goes. Well, the new coil came in the mail today, so I've put it in. Sorry I didn't get any footage of that. Ted Nugent came on the radio and I got all excited, totally forgot to turn the camera on. So anyways, here we are with it all assembled, and I put some gas, some fuel back into the tank. I bypassed the coil because I think there may have been this coil. I bypassed the points, I'm sorry, because I believe that this coil had some built-in apparatus to be able to bypass it. I'm not quite sure, so if I don't get it going here with some pulls, I'll probably have to go through those points again. But let's see what happens here if we can. All right, we'll get in a little closer here. And so I just spliced the wire coming out of the coil to the shutoff wire, and we've got this wire that was under the screw on the housing. So I'll just take and remove this splice. Tearing into the points here. It's uncharted territory for me. Well, I let loose of the wrench. The wrench spring gave out, so what I did is I don't know if you can see this, but I pushed the spring down and I'm holding it with the vice grip. When I let this vice grip go, that spring will pop back out and pinch the wires in there. That was a bugger to figure out. I've never done this before, so something different. Well, I got the points in, ready to go. Let's see if we get spark this time. Oh my goodness. We have spark. We have spark. Nice. All right. Unbelievable. Clean carb, fresh points, fresh coil. Unbelievable. It has never ever started on one pull like that. I'm just tickled. Well, we'll give it a little rip here and see if we can't get some grass cut, chopped up. I'm probably gonna have to fine tune the dial in the carb a little bit, but we'll give it a whirl. Well, she rips through the grass. You can see it spinning. I guess I should have pulled the camera back. Sorry about that. But I'll be getting some more action with this thing. Cutting through the grass while I get the pad cut out. All the sod cut out for where the concrete pad's gonna go. Got some white lines sprayed and some marks and so on the lawn here. So I'll be back with more later. Thanks for watching.